Isn't that sold in the Cracker Barrel store? Coconut water? That's like
no.
Good old fashioned.
Only if it's mixed with bacon fat.
I'm Arizona Family political editor Dennis Welch.
Dennis, fake news Welch. Try to tell the truth.
And this is the Politics Unplugged podcast.
Dennis, if you have a problem with substance abuse, I am more than willing to talk to you anytime you need.
And welcome back to another edition of the Politics Unplugged podcast. And we're going to be doing a quick news recap of all the best stories that we think are the top stories driving politics in Arizona this week. And I am joined by Doug Cole, the Republican, and Matt Grotsky, the Democrat. Thanks, gentlemen, for stopping by here. How's the week been?
It's our pleasure. It's been a good week. League of Cities and Towns Conference. It's always, that's always the state fair of local politics.
I bet. And Matt, I'm sure you snuck out some point to go grab a meal at Cracker Barrel this week.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely. I ate there a ton. No, it was a busy week. We had Secretary Fontes was making the rounds defending the, practice of vote by mail.
Mm-hmm.
And, Trump's trying to get rid
Do
of
we
it.
have that here still? I thought
We've got it for now. But he can just wave his magic wand and poof, it's gone.
Well, I'd like to thank you for making that transition into the first topic.
We're professionals. We're professionals.
That much
here.
easier. I mean, This is a real teamwork here.
Yeah.
This is some real Friday vibes, man.
Yeah.
We really come together. I like that.
You said you wanted a good show. Here we go.
Here we go. Now, the first topic, mail-in voting. President's saying he's got lawyers working on an executive order to roll it back. Doesn't want to do mail-in voting anymore. Wants to get rid of the machines. And I got to ask you, Doug. I mean, you were kind of there at the creation of Arizona, and Republicans. Have really pioneered, for a lack of a better term, the use of mail-in voting. And for most of the past 30-some years that it's been in existence here in Arizona, no excuse mail-in voting.
Correct.
It really has mostly benefited Democrats year in, year out. Why do this?
Well, it's benefited Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We started this in the early 90s under Governor Symington when I was his deputy chief of staff, and it has been a bonanza of the ensuing decades for Republicans. We worked out systems to chase those ballots, to ensure as soon as someone got a ballot in the mail, there was campaign literature, moments, if not in the same mailbox, with phone calls to follow, and then urging especially the 60, 65 plus to return those ballots because those are solid Republican voters here in the state of Arizona, and bank all these votes. And then in 2007, we added the permanent voting list, so you would get. You didn't even have to call or send in a postcard. You just got your ballot early if you so chose, elected to do that. And it's really has kept Republicans almost every election cycle, save ones that we're going to talk about here in a minute, I'm sure. In office,
referring to 2020?
Yeah, in office, yeah. I mean, legislature super majorities for years. Every constitutional office in the state of Arizona, along with our congressional delegation, all Republicans have benefited immensely from early balloting, and then we got all this confusion that is now raining upon us.
Yeah, and this lack of a better term, a dumb move. I mean, you start looking at recent examples where 2020, 2022. I mean, in 2020, Trump was telling people not to mail in their ballots. It was kind of the same thing in 22. But last year, Trump changed and switched his strategy, and guess what? He won.
Funny how that works. Yeah, it's a super dumb move. To Doug's point, it's a great Republican idea. It's very popular out here. 85%-ish of Arizonans
if not
use
more
it,
in some cycles.
Yeah. I think it might actually be higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of my fondest memories is 2022 in the general election, watching Charlie Kirk freak out in real time on one of his dumb podcasts, basically saying because Republicans aren't voting by mail, because Republicans have messed this up so bad, we're not hitting our thresholds to win. And we saw what happened that night. So he can't do this because it's not constitutional. He'd have to go through Congress to get it done. We can get into that.
Oh, that whole thing?
Oh, that whole thing. That thing is
details,
still
there. Man, details.
But if it's a grand dream of his, it's like, fine, that's just going to hurt you. So be our guest, I guess.
Yeah. So here's what I think's going on here. This is all part of the master plan. This is not a one-off deal. Okay. Trump learned something in 2018. That's when he barely kept the Senate. This was the midterms of his first term. And history is presidents usually do not do well in midterm elections, and especially if the Congress is of the same party, which it was. And so that's when Nancy Pelosi came back into power. And then it was impeachment palooza that ensued in the House. And, of course, it never was a conviction in the Senate because it was still, they need 2/3 and it was still controlled by the Republicans. And his agenda stopped, okay? So if I was in the White House, and I'm sure that this is what's going on, they've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out ways to keep this normal historic trend that goes on from not happening again like it did in 2018, which really stalled his agenda. So you go to Texas. We're redrawing congressional districts. Okay, we're looking. We looked into Arizona. Well, we can't do it in Arizona because it's constitutional and with commission, and we have a Democrat governor. But they're trying to find every little avenue to go in to keep the House, which is most vulnerable to be flipped, not the Senate this time around. Keep the House Republican under any circumstance. So all this redistricting stuff, this confusion that's floating on how we're going to change voting and such, creates suppression. And all these things combined, and there's going to be more to come. I don't know what's next. All these things combined are all an effort to keep the U.S. House of Representatives under Republican control so that the president can continue his agenda. That's my conspiracy theory.
It's 1,000% correct, I think. So
Thank you. So we live in the same conspiracy.
We do.
Okay,
Yeah, great. I mean, agreement is the hallmark of good podcasts and good talkback shows. We can just all agree on everything.
Everybody's signing off right now from watching.
Yeah,
I'm glad
okay,
I could
sorry,
do that
folks.
for you.
Yeah.
I'll find something to disagree with.
Okay, good.
So what happens, obviously some incredible, serious constitutional questions. I mean, there's the states' rights issues, and there's Article 1, Section 4. I think Doug knows that section. Is it Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution?
Very good. And the 10th Amendment.
Yeah, and the 10th Amendment. I got them both right.
Yeah, you got 'em
Professor,
both right.
For those who don't know, Professor Cole, as I always refer to him, as the unofficial political historian of Arizona.
Thank you very much.
Anytime I don't know an answer or something,
sorry
I
you've
can't
got
find
that
it in a book or
responsibility.
can't find
Bummer.
it Googling. I just Doug Cole it. Like, hey, Doug, who did this in 1993? It's like, oh, it was so and so. Anyway, I digress.
And most of the time, I'm right.
Yeah,
He's got a really
I
great.
joke. I'm not
really
always
great.
right, but I'm always certain. So I respect that.
You should be.
See, we disagree.
He
on
should be in
something.
TV.
Yeah, he should.
I know. What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
But what?
Well, at least you got video.
What would happen if you got rid of mail-in voting? I mean, that would be. It seems like it could be disastrous.
I think it'd be disastrous in Arizona. It'd be disastrous for a bunch of Republicans that know they benefit from it, which is why I think there's going to be some pushback within his own party on that front. I don't think it ever gets through Congress because these guys are self-interested. But again, it's about causing chaos. To Doug's earlier point, the National Guard stuff, the redistricting stuff. This stunt, it's all an effort to try and confuse people as much as possible ahead of 2026. Because aside from the midterms post 9/11. And 2022, which was a really fun year, the party in power traditionally does not do well in the midterm years. So he's trying to defy history by bending the rules.
And could this be like an actual issue itself in the election? I mean, I asked after that, I put out a request for comment to Karen Taylor Ropes and Andy Biggs, the two top Republicans running for the job. And, I didn't get a direct answer to my question, which was...
You're kidding. You didn't get direct answers
Well,
for
and
politicians?
here's my question I put out to both of them was, if it would take legislation on the local level, on the state level, would you, as governor, at the position they're running, support and sign legislation to roll back or eliminate mail-in voting? Now, I got a response from the Biggs people. I would characterize it as word salad, but it did not directly answer my question. I got nothing from the Karen Taylor Robeson folks. What's going on here, Doug? Unpack this for us.
It's an easy unpack. I zip it up right now. It's they don't want to get sideways with their endorser, Mr. Trump, and so they're just trying to walk that fine line. They're dancing on the edge of a razor blade. They just don't want to fall off of that because then you get sliced in half, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. But there's also a practical issue with this. Even if he could wave his presidential magic wand with an executive order, there's not enough precinct equipment in the United States that could be procured in the next 5 years to go back to precinct voting. It's physically impossible because every state except Louisiana does use paper ballots. Louisiana, for some reason, doesn't. They use electronic.
It's Louisiana.
It's Louisiana. But my point being is there is no way, even if you could find all the sites, here in Maricopa County, we need about 1,400 voting sites. Just in Maricopa County. Where do you find 1,400 scanners? Where do you, I mean, you just keep multiplying that out.
You hand count them, Doug.
Well, so it may sound good and say it can be done. It physically cannot be done. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, I mean, it's the logistics of it. I mean, and to ramp that up in less in a year now, because we're a year away from the primary.
Exactly.
And in terms of, it may seem like a long time, but when you're election officials and you're gearing up for that stuff, I mean,
they're starting that process now.
Oh yeah, I mean, papers being ordered, all that stuff is when ballots, draft ballot designs is already underway.
All right, and let's talk about somebody. Since we mentioned the governor's race, let's talk a little bit about somebody else who reportedly is thinking about running for governor, and that is longtime Congressman David Schweikert. Now, the way I post this on the TV is this. I'll ask you: is it hot air, or is is this a draft or just hot air?
Well, you're looking at me. Here we are, August 22nd, and we're talking about David Schweikert.
Yeah,
and had this balloon not been launched out by David and Chris Baker, his very capable political consultant who's helped David get elected all these years, we're talking about him. They were talking on the radio show this morning. I'm sure you talked about him on your TV show. It's August. It's great to be mentioned, but it's also good to use for potential fundraising, raising his profile in Washington as if the House maintains its Republican majority, may be looked upon by the Republican Speaker more kindly in the conference on getting a better committee chairmanship because he's got enough seniority now. He has subcommittees. Maybe he gets a committee chairman out of this whole thing. He doesn't do it at the end of the day. It's too expensive. Karen Taylor Robeson's self-funded. It's also raising a lot of money. Andy Biggs has the promise of Turning Point, funding him and with their independent expenditures. I don't know where he gets his money from at that point.
I think the other big point is Karen Taylor Robeson and Andy Biggs both have an endorsement from Donald Trump.
Yeah. So we maybe endorses 3 times. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
Never say never.
Never say never.
You're never definite with this, folks. I mean, what's your take on? I mean, I kind of agree with Doug when I first heard this. I'm like, this feels like a hot air trial balloon.
It's agree with Doug Day, I guess.
Oh come on!
I know. Sorry.
Now we lost our last 2
it's
viewers.
It's
okay.
the 3 of us now.
You're gonna leave it up to me to be the disagreeable one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to take the position. Like, no, he's running for serious. No.
Yeah, it's a leverage move, internally for all the reasons mentioned. There's no room for him over in the governor's race. But additionally, look, CD1 is not the 2022 CD1. We've got 1,000 Democrats that have jumped into a primary over there thinking that it's those same metrics. It's not. Between 2022
well, you know
and
that district really well. You had a candidate last year.
Yeah, that was a blast. And I live there, so I get to see all these candidates again. But Republicans added 11,000 voters to their registration rolls between 22 and 24. We added 2,000. We've actually gone backwards since the general election last year. So
aren't you guys like 335,000 less than Republicans now statewide?
Something like that.
Yeah. I just want to point that out.
What the hell happened with that,
all
man?
that salt in the wound there.
What the hell happened? What the hell?
Well, we're going to need a longer show for that one. But regardless, I don't think it's to his benefit to leave that spot. I think he's in pretty good shape, despite something big happening and us getting a bigger chunk of the independents in the general.
I mean, he has endured with lots of controversy, and he's a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And in that congressional race, yeah.
I mean,
I just don't see how he gets in this and is successful.
And it's right there. I mean, like death, taxes, and Democrats think they can pick up Schweikert's seat.
Yeah,
and he survives.
We
every
haven't
single
defined
time.
him the right way. No one cares about ethics violations, and he's done this good job of keeping up a very moderate facade despite his voting record. And until we properly expose that, and I'll add run a candidate that can actually beat him, we're just going to be definition of insanity the whole way through.
And you all just line up a whole bunch of folks to run in the primary, and they spend all their money, and then
it's a quick 90-day sprint trying to define the guy, and guess what? That doesn't work. So,
well, other folks making news. Mark Kelly made a little bit of news this week because he was asked point blank, I believe, by Jake Tapper on CNN. It's like, hey, you're going to run for president, and the condition was, Jake Tapper wanted a yes/no answer, yes/no response. He says, yes/no, you're going to be running for, the White House. And Kelly's short response was, I'm not going to give you a yes/no answer. It's kind of fun, right? You got two Arizona folks, at least think that they may be in the mix for the presidential sweepstakes.
Exactly.
I love the media feeding it. I mean, I think to go back 10 years, I know we're a little depressed about Dems right now from our voter registration stuff on my end, but, you go back 10 years ago, the fact it would be unheard of to think you've got two Democratic senators in there, let alone the two of them being considered, in the presidential conversation. I think, embarrassment of riches at the federal level on that front for us. So that's a bright spot.
Okay, since I'm the old guy in the room, I'm going to go back to someone who I knew and was the staffer in Congress, Morris K. Udall, where, as he famously said after his defeat to Jimmy Carter in 1976 election, said, Arizona's the only state where their mothers tell their children that they can't grow up to be president.
Be anything you want.
And my old boss, John McCain, always repeated that line.
Yeah.
And lived it.
Well, what's are there benefits or are there downsides when you have both senators from Arizona all like getting this kind of attention? Well, I don't know of any other state where both the senators are being.
No, at this stage of the game, they've both made it very clear they're focused on their jobs right now, and that's great. I mean, right now it helps with fundraising, it helps with exposure, it helps give the party something to be excited about locally when there's not much to be excited about. So from that aspect, it's fine. But that we're a million years away from 28, and that's going to be a very crowded primary. So
and you can see the butter statues at the Iowa State Fair.
Yep.
It's always good. But Arizona, just because of things that have happened with McCain's death, Kyle stepping aside, we used to have enormous seniority, and we're used to it from Ernest McFarland, who used to own this station, to so many others, Dennis DeConcini, John Kyle in the Senate, and Jeff Flake. We had so much seniority and incredible power. Ernest McFarland being the majority leader back in the 50s. Barry Goldwater, a legend. John McCain, a legend. And I'm not denigrating our current. It's just the Senate works on seniority.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have that. And having them raise their profile is kind of an offset to what we don't have anymore.
That's a good point. That is a good point because shit, man. When you had Kyle and McCain there, that was a lot of seniority, especially with McCain.
Right. And Carl Hayden was, until Strom Thurmond, was the longest-serving member of the U.S. Senate.
Yeah. Well, I think,
and he was a Probst chair, and he was the president pro tem for years.
I think Carl Hayden served in Congress either in the House or in the Senate from statehood until like 1969.
That is true.
I think all that is true.
That is true.
I just think in this day and age, it feels like the attention span and the runway is shorter for a lot of folks. Look at J.D. Vance, right? Like, did he build up a lot of seniority, or did he just kind of get picked at the right time?
Well, Obama did the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, he was his senator for a minute.
Yeah.
From
it's
Illinois.
It's shrunk, I think, since then. But, I agree with the Arizona assessment. History's not very kind to people with that aspiration, but who the hell knows, right? Things change all the time.
All right, let's wrap up with this. This is a fun story for your Republican Party, Doug. It looks like Gina Swoboda, the chairwoman of the party, is now facing calls for her resignation. Because why? She had the audacity to say that there should maybe be some guardrails placed on some of this empowerment scholarship account funding, because we're seeing a lot of reporting from a competing station that is detailing a lot of what appears to be abuses in spending the money that's supposed to go to the children's education.
Well,
what is going on with here?
Well, first of all, the Republican Party in the state have made ESAs, which empowerment scholarship accounts, which is vouchers, kind of a third rail there that's of Republican politics in the state of Arizona. You know, you can't touch it, okay? And also, I remember in the 35 years that I've been doing this, Republicans were about accountability, being good with taxpayer dollars, accounting. I mean, you know, we were always talking about the golden toilet seat that cost $300,000 and some, you know, and some the space shuttle or whatever.
Just sat on that one, that
exactly.
seat one time.
Well, it was, but it was not literal. It was, you know, it was just how much the seat cost. But my point is we've tried to be the party of accountability in assuring taxpayers' monies are audited and spent correctly. This has again been turned on its head. Now we have a fight going between Tom Horn, the incumbent superintendent of public instruction, and now Turning Point, by all media accounts, has put up our current state treasurer to run against Tom Horn, and more supported by Turning Point. And now you have this in-party fighting going on for the soul of the Arizona Republican Party from the elected PCs that are there statutorily. It's in state law. They exist because statute allows them to exist, versus this outside entity called Turning Point that's domiciled here in Arizona but has a national footprint. Who's the true MAGA group, and who's the purist, and who has the president's ear, and who's, you know, really in control or should be in control. So we have the Turning Point nomenclature fighting the elected Republican nomenclature. It's down to the PC level. They're arguing in district meetings, and it's just going to be interesting to watch what happens. I would say Gina Swoboda is very, very popular within the elected PC crowd of the Republican Party. She's done a great job. She's turned the party around. She's raised money. She's kept it. She's
gotten people elected.
She's gotten people elected.
Look at how they thank her.
Yeah, and it's a thankless job, and now she's getting attacked by this outside and elected group.
Is that a mistake on her part? Because, you know, I grew up in politics. It's like the chairman's job is raise money, get people elected, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Should she have
rinse
been
and repeat?
The mistake on her
should
part,
she have even been weighing in? I mean, I would think that if you're the chairperson, you stay away from policy discussions. You get asked about a policy, you say, not for me to decide.
Well,
go ask the people I get
Where the hell
elected.
is she supposed to go at this point? She's getting squeezed by Turning Point. The Republican Party of old has now turned into the Turning Point, Laura Loomer MAGA party, right? So she's speaking like a Republican from
But
a bygone era.
why is a chairperson even speaking about this?
I
Is
feel like
my
she's
question.
got nowhere left to go, but she used to be a Dem, so maybe she needs to switch parties again and come on back. I said we got a voter registration problem. Jump on in. But yeah, I don't know what her calculus is. You know, the thing she said is going to definitely, you know, win her some fire from the Turning Point side. But
Well, I applaud her for saying it, because I'm an old
she's
school
not
Republican.
wrong.
She's not wrong.
yeah, she's not wrong. I mean, the ESA thing is ridiculous. I mean, there needs to be accountability, and she's not wrong with her descriptions of some of these other characters either. It's
She's
just,
not-
it's not going to
yeah.
get her anything.
She's not arguing to get rid of the ESA program. She's just saying, you know, we
But
have
again,
it,
I guess
and
my-
we're
my-
funding it, but you know, there's got to be. Why are people buying lingerie, right?
Oh, I've got my reasons.
We all had our suspicions, Dennis.
No, I mean, but the underlying question is, I don't know why she would even engage in this and just avoid it altogether. I mean, there's been some chairwomen I've covered in the past that are really good at not saying anything, and you know they're going to take their flack anyway because it is a thankless job. But the weigh in on policy discussions to me as a chairperson is like that is not the job.
It's like weighing in on a primary, which Turning Point's doing.
Yeah.
Time and again.
Yeah.
Almost every statewide race, and starting in on legislative races now. They are picking sides.
Well,
I don't care why she's doing it. I'm fine with it. The less drama on our side, the better. Go.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have got your own problems.
Let's talk about
my plexiglass house over here.
Who is the chairman of the Democrat Party? I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Oh, well, we don't have one. We've
I
got an
thought so.
interim.
Yeah, okay.
I'm telling you, we just did that to make your side feel better. The chair drama is typically your guys'
I
thing.
mean, the last list I saw was like 18 people running or something. It was very long
just
list.
about as many as is in the CD1 primary.
Exactly.
But no, tune in on September 13th. We'll find out.
Maybe the next time we'll sit there and discuss, like, do parties even matter anymore? I would argue they don't. Not a whole lot anymore.
Well.
They give you a bulk rate on discount on mail. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, there's ways around that too. Around the parties. Go to the county party, right?
Well,
Yeah, there you go.
That's why Yuma County
There you
Republican
go.
Party exists.
Maricopa County Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Well, I think we're over time. I told Doug we'd keep it to about 20 minutes. We're about 25 minutes in, so I think we're going to have to wrap up here.
It's going to cost you more next time.
And I'm just going to ask you real quick, what is the go-to meal at Cracker Barrel? Doug, go.
Oh, I have to go with chicken fried steak.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about the lingerie you're buying, so I'm not totally sure. I don't know. I've never been to one.
They don't have that in the country store going in.
It's not in the gift shop.
No,
when
it's
you go on
not.
your way out.
Cracker Barrel lingerie.
I don't know. Any type of steak they got, I'm all for it. But
I can't remember last time I was at a Cracker Barrel, but I can honestly say I don't give enough. I don't care enough to care that they changed their logo.
yeah,
Apparently that's the big topic here. One of the big topics as
it's
we
the
were saying
pressing
goodbye
issue
here
of
on
our
Fridays.
time.
It is.
Yeah. All right, we'll have to end it right there, man. Thanks you guys for stopping by here. We'll see you
Thanks
next
for
time.
having
Our
us.
pleasure. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, welcome back to the second half of the Politics Unplugged podcast. As always, Colin Stanton joining me here, the great producer extraordinaire of this show and many other fine shows here at The Family. Colin, how's your week been, man?
It's been an okay week.
Yeah.
Glad it's Friday.
Yeah.
Or Sunday, if you're listening to this. But yeah, been a good week. Had a story air.
Yeah, we tape it at the end of the week, and when you guys hear it, we're embarking on the beginning.
Yeah.
Of a new week, and let's talk about the what topic we ended on, and a little bit with the guests there with Doug and with Matt. Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Apparently, people are really upset that they decided to rebrand.
Yeah, they went woke.
They went woke.
They
or
went
something?
woke by eliminating the old man and the barrel on their logo.
Yeah. And I read a couple stories. I just didn't want to go deep dive into the barrel.
No.
Because part of me is like, at some point, like, are we just tired of being outraged from about the most minuscule stuff?
I keep seeing things that people are outraged about, and at first I think, no, people can't really care about this. That's got to be a joke,
Yeah.
right? And apparently there actually are people outraged that Cracker Barrel updated their logo. And to be fair, the new logo looks stupid. It's a nothing minimalist logo. But like old white man in a barrel, I guess the cracker in the barrel, I don't know. I don't see why anyone would draw a political line in the sand over the old man being eliminated from the Cracker
who
Barrel
gives a
logo.
shit, man? Who gives a shit? If you like Cracker Barrel, go to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
I don't like Cracker Barrel. I don't dislike Cracker Barrel. I've been there a couple times in my life.
Yeah. I've eaten there once.
Yeah, I was next to some interstate somewhere in this country.
That's where all of them are.
Yeah,
Yes.
and fine, but
It's generous.
but
You can go ahead and go fight woke by eating some terrible
yeah, I just
in an overpacked place with all this kitschy
ask
crap.
yourself. It's just like, is it worth getting upset about this stuff? It is their goddamn business. It really is their goddamn business. What they want to do with it.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. I don't understand.
No, the business of trying to create culture war outrage is
There's
just
a-
so
there-
weird.
Somebody's got to be making some money off of that. I mean, creating these
yeah.
meaningless fights,
Yes.
completely meaningless.
I'm
fights.
sure there are people doing it on social media who are making something off the engagement and costing these companies for absolutely no particular gain.
Yeah.
I mean, Target was losing money because they were accused of being woke. So they were announced they announced they were eliminating all their DEI policies to make the right happy, and now the left won't shop there, and their sales are tanking. And it's just exasperating. I don't get it. The Cracker Barrel thing is just beyond bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one down the street from me. I see it all the time. If no one had told me they changed the logo and I saw the new logo, I would not have known it was a new logo. Like I said, it's a lousy logo, but it's not like the old one was great.
Yeah, I don't care. It's one of those things that's just like, wow, we've got to pay attention to this now.
Yeah, this week's outrage. We'll have a new one next week.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was asking myself that question years ago when the right was all upset about President Obama wearing a tan or taupe suit.
Yeah, it was an outrage. How dare he wear a taupe suit?
It's like
That's not befitting a president.
I mean, there are things to be outraged about, and there are things that just like you're just waiting to be lit up, to be triggered or something.
Yeah,
and like this is just one of those meaningless fights, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
At this point.
By the way, the people who were outraged over Obama's tan suit, and Fox was all over it. Fox was furious that he had the audacity to wear a tan suit. Do you think they're saying anything about Trump's appearance today? Because this is Friday. As we started taping this, he had just done something in the Oval Office where he was taking questions. Open shirt, no tie, and a baseball cap that says Trump was right about everything.
But back with the audacity of taupe, it was like he wasn't showing the office its proper respect.
Yeah, but the baseball cap down low over your eyes, that's respecting the office.
I guess. I love wearing a baseball cap. I don't see anything. I don't see anything wrong with that either. I don't get outraged about that stuff. Yeah, what you're talking about is consistency.
Yes.
And I think more people, need to, kind of figure out where they're at and just be consistent.
Yes.
If you held everybody to the same standards, it'd be a different world.
Yes. And to be clear, I'm not offended that he wore that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
I think he looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm not offended he wore it in the Oval Office. But yes, if you're going to be outraged by Oval Office attire, I think baseball cap with a slogan embroidered on it and no tie should probably be higher on the outrage than the shade of brown that the suit is.
Yeah, I agree with that. And speaking of Trump, is a good segue. Let's talk a little bit about the Gavin Newsom's new tactic in this world. It's not so much new now. It's been going on for a couple of weeks. We just haven't had a chance to speak about this. And I don't think I'm giving anything away on you. But you and I would kind of talk how cringy some of the Gavin Newsom stuff was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
it's just like, man, you're thirsty. You're just like super thirsty for attention and whatnot.
Hosting, Steve Bannon, I think, on his podcast and others on the right, and people on the left wondering why exactly is he platforming these people? Yeah, and are you trying to find middle ground with Steve Bannon?
And you listen to it and you're like, what's the point of it? I mean, I'm sure people listen to this podcast go, what's the point of your damn podcast? Okay, that's
probably
fair.
But yeah, Gavin Newsom was offering a platform to people you would not expect Gavin Newsom to offer a platform for, which is certainly his prerogative. But as a guy who's clearly angling to run for president in the next election, it was not a move that endeared himself to people who may be considering voting for him in the future.
Yeah, and as a political tactic now, he is putting out he is mocking the president. He is mimicking his Truth Social post with a lot of uppercase letters, random quotes around random words.
Yes.
The vernacular of thank you for your attention to this issue.
To this matter.
Yeah. The MAGA art that's going around that shows, Gavin Newsom being touched by the angel of Hulk Hogan and Tucker Carlson.
Firing guns with each hand, shirtless while an eagle flies overhead.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, and as a tactic, man, in this what they call attention economy, man, it has worked.
It's working and is clearly annoying the people he wants to annoy.
Yeah, which is the point, right?
Seeing Fox News go, why is he doing this? These silly, childish, gibberish posts, and everyone watching knows they're actually nailing the tone of every post Trump makes.
Yeah.
Adding nicknames and quotes, and every time he mentions Trump, it's tiny hands in quotes. And I mean, they're very well gauged to annoy the people he wants to annoy.
It's also just a reminder. It's like, do we live in a post-hypocrisy world? Have we been living in a post-hypocrisy world? I mean, because like honestly, like the people at Fox to feign like like they don't know what's going on. Like they're not that stupid.
No.
You cannot convince me they're that stupid that they don't get the joke. That they have to understand what the joke is.
I think they have hit the point where they think they can tell their audience anything, and the audience will play along.
That's absurd. I mean, I don't disagree with you, but that's absurd.
Yeah, no, it's
just crazy to think about.
It is. But yeah, and in a bigger picture, it's just sort of odd to see someone taking on the right like this. Democrats have sort of perfected the whimper and lie down model.
They're very good at that.
And to see someone on the left actually standing up and making fun of Trump and the redistricting, instead of people wringing their hands and filing lawsuits and, talking about how terrible it is, Newsom goes, okay, I can find 5 seats. Cool.
Tit for tat.
It's a little refreshing to see someone on the left attempting something and being effective.
Yeah. My concern is in a little bit is like, if you become what you despise, I mean, to get over, I mean, what's that say? And that's my only concern. And I know the go high when they go low tactic has not worked for the Democrats.
It hasn't. I think at some point, if your tactics are not working, forget about the morality of those tactics and get into power. If the Democrats
first rule of politics, man, got to win elections.
If the Democrats get into power and they continue doing things like changing out stuff in the Smithsonian because it's not speaking positively enough about slavery, then I will worry more. As of now, if they're just doing what they have to do to regain power, we've certainly seen that the right will do that. I'm not gonna wring my hands too much about seeing the left do it in response.
Exhausted again this week.
Yeah,
it's like it's like a constant theme. My exhaustion on Friday. I apologize for anybody who's listening to that. But you got a big fantasy football draft.
Oh, my
coming
draft's
up
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to start doing research. I have the 9th pick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was dismayed to look up, and I was looking up some advice, and they said 9th pick. Well, that's where Christian McCaffrey is really coming into play in drafts.
Yeah.
And if anyone...
And he might play in 6 or 7 whole games this year.
Which would be a vast improvement. So I was thinking, God, don't make me make that decision. Don't make me decide between Christian McCaffrey, who's maybe the top guy if he plays, and someone else who actually will play. I don't want to have to make that decision. And then I saw the 49ers just traded for a running back.
Oh,
so I'm like, all right, they're hedging their bets. I'm not taking McCaffrey.
No, you know me. I'm encouraging you, Kyler Murray, baby.
Yes. It's not that deep. We only have 4 bench slots, so I'm not sure I'm going to have a spot for the wee Kyler.
For Whittle Kyler.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a legit fan, but I get it.
No, you're diehard.
Yeah, diehard fan, man. I was listening to some podcast the other day, and some guy's going off on the Cardinals, and he says, like, I've never met a Cardinal fan. Do they even exist? I'm like, you bet your ass they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, outside of like a 30-mile radius of the stadium, they probably don't.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the edge of that then. They're way out in the west side. I live in Central Phoenix.
That's true.
Yeah. So maybe you have to broaden that up. Maybe a 100-mile radius.
Yeah, maybe.
I
heard, I forget who it was now. I don't know. It might have been Bomani Jones or someone pointing out what were the good old days for the Cardinals? Because you can name them for like every other franchise, and some have multiple. The 49ers have had various periods. You could say the good old days. The Steelers had their period in the 70s, and the Raiders, and the Bengals won a Super Bowl with Boomer Esiason.
What about the Jaguars?
Well, I mean, expansion teams with an no, they were in a Super Bowl, weren't they?
I don't know. What about the
Browns?
Browns?
Maybe it's the Panthers. I always get the Panthers.
What about the Browns?
The Browns at least had Jim Brown. They had like the Jim Brown era.
Well, but that's the Ravens organization now, technically.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah,
Not according to the NFL.
Yeah,
Not according to the NFL.
Yeah.
Regardless.
We went to a Super Bowl once. There are some squads that have never gone to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but so that's it. I mean, it's the oldest franchise in the league, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think
that's what we got.
I think we
Kurt Warner in the trip to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, baby.
Where they lost.
Yeah. A blown call.
Yeah.
I'm just making that up. We got hosed.
So yeah.
Well, in 2015 they went to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer. So there's two. Those are the good years,
There
man.
have been times when they've
09
been good.
and 15.
It's just you look back at a team that's been around that long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just odd that there's no real era you point to and go, yeah, they were great then.
No, I started watching that Netflix documentary on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny because I talked to you about it. It's like we joked that if you want to boost numbers for all these sports talk podcasts or radio shows, all I got to do is talk Cowboys, and I just kind of make fun of that. And here I am watching a goddamn documentary about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. They kind of painted, there's that famous photograph of him outside the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
That they're trying to bring some black kids in.
Yeah.
They really glossed over that.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't think they'd want to go too deep into that.
They really,
Although
they
he
really
insists he was just there to see how things are going. And to be fair, while all the other white people around him are screaming, he seems to have a somewhat neutral expression on his face.
Yeah, I'm sure he was neutral. Sure, there's a lot of neutral people back then. Down there.
Yeah.
We should probably get off that before we get ourselves in
Probably
trouble.
not bad.
Sure, you good. Sure, Jerry. He's like,
Sounds like the negotiations with Micah Parsons are going good. Jerry said on a podcast yesterday that he sent a contract proposal over to Micah Parsons' agent, and Micah Parsons' agent told him to, quote, stick it up your ass, unquote.
oh
So,
my God.
yeah.
What I can't say is like there's been some talk, people who report on the Cardinals, like maybe the Cardinals should trade for him. Like, no.
They're not going to trade him.
You don't need a Micah Parsons. You need more. You might need a quarterback after this season, and you probably need another wide receiver, more in the offense this season.
Yeah, I mean, Micah Parsons is a great player. You need more than one great player. You need.
I mean, he might be the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah. You need to fill out the ranks a little more than you need to hang that one.
Well, and you
really
made a big
great player
investment in
on
the
the roster.
defense, and I don't think the defense isn't the question. The question is whether Kyler Murray can step up. They got all the pieces there.
Yeah,
but
still a mystery and a project in year 7.
God, that's annoying. Well, Kyler Murray answered. He's like, "Fuck." Been 8 years, man.
Yeah. That we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe next week we'll go into. I'll grab some stats and I'll make my defense for Kyler Murray.
Okay. And we can do a college preview next week. Ducks play next week. I assume the Hawkeyes play.
Hawkeyes play the powerful Albany. I don't know who they are. The Albany Waterfalls.
Nice.
I have no idea.
No, they might get a touchdown there.
FCS. I mean, they were described. Albany was described as not only an FCS school, obviously, but as a bad FCS school.
So Oregon opens against Montana State, which I believe would be a good FCS school.
Yeah, there you go. So like you can't give throw too much shade toward the Hawkeyes.
Oh no, it's refreshing that they're opening against FCS.
Yeah.
Or for a while there, Oregon had this thing where they were, I think, trying to prove themselves in scheduling. I mean, a few years ago, our season opener was LSU at a neutral site, and the neutral site was Atlanta.
Oh yeah, that's neutral.
Yeah.
The thing about the Hawkeyes is it's always the second game of the year. They always play the dreaded Iowa State Cyclones in that rivalry game, which is always what it is. So they've got a new quarterback, Iowa does, and people are very excited that he can complete a 10-yard pass. I showed you the video that they were the football account actually put out. It's like this guy, and they're like slow-mo with dramatic music, like 10-yard out pattern.
Yeah.
People are just like going bonkers over it.
No, a completion would be a refreshing change. They could try something new.
I hope they're really good. And I hope Oregon and Iowa can meet later this year in November and both be undefeated.
Yeah,
that would be fun for both of us.
Yeah, enjoy that. All right.
Yeah, I think we've done enough damage this week.
Yeah.
You know, anything you got any before we go? Any fun activities planned for this weekend?
Nothing. I'll come up with something. I've got my fantasy draft, and then I'll either be happy or sad the rest of the weekend. And we'll go from there. You?
I might hate watch the Iowa State game on Saturday. They play in Dublin against Kansas State. You know, so that tells you a lot about my life. When I'm like, the highlight might be hate watching another team.
Yeah.
I'm joking. That. I'm joking.
No, you're not.
I know. We'll see you guys.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening. You can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, the Google Store, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. See you next time.